On the planet, there are countless incredible and unimaginable places. Some of them, in fact, are quite dangerous. Even so, they attract tourists from all over seeking adventure. Whether it is the precipice of a volcano or a crazy roller coaster full of controversies, that is exactly what we are going to see here today. In the mountains of China, one trail has become legendary for looking like something out of a nightmare. Mount Huashan in Shanxi Province, China, is a sacred place for Taoism, but today, it draws tourists thirsty for adrenaline. Its fame comes from a specific section called the Plank Walk in the Sky. Basically, these are wooden planks fixed to the edge of a cliff more than 2,000 meters high. And yes, you walk there secured only by a dubious harness, holding onto chains and praying that no one in front of you freezes with fear. But the path to that point is already tense. Those who decide to climb on foot face 12 kilometers of steep stairways and trails carved into the rock, a route that took more than 3,000 years to build. Along the way, adventurers also pass by ancient temples, razor-sharp cliffs, and unbelievable views. When it is finally time for the plank walk, there is no way not to feel butterflies in your stomach. The crossing is only about 50 meters long, but it feels eternal when you are hanging off the side of the mountain, trusting planks that look improvised. They say 100 people die each year at this place, which has never been confirmed. But those who survive leave with the certainty that Mount Huashan is much more than a trail. It is more like a test of courage. Imagine a trail a little more than 1 meter wide, hanging more than 100 meters high, glued to the wall of a gorge. That is the Caminito del Rey, or King's Path, in southern Spain. It was built in the early 20th century to facilitate workers' access to the region's hydroelectric plants. But over time, the structure deteriorated so much that it became a deadly challenge for adventurers. Without protective railings and with sections collapsing, the place earned a reputation as one of the most dangerous trails in the world, and with good reason. Only between 1999 and 2000, 4 people died trying to cross it. The situation became so critical that access was officially closed in 2001, but that did not prevent visitors from entering, who ignored the warnings and continued climbing there. The government even imposed fines of 6,000 euros on anyone caught. After years of abandonment, the path was restored and reopened in 2015, with wooden walkways, safety railings, and controlled reservations. Today, it is a sought-after tourist outing and much safer. Still, walking there, surrounded by vertical cliffs, remains a breathtaking experience. In New Jersey, United States, stood Kingda Ka, which for almost 20 years was simply the tallest roller coaster in the world. In less than 4 seconds, it accelerated from 0 to 206 kilometers per hour to hurl visitors along a track that rose the equivalent of a 45-story building. The drop was almost vertical, with 127 meters of height. All of this in less than 30 seconds of pure adrenaline. Kingda Ka opened in 2005 at Six Flags Great Adventure and became an icon among extreme roller coaster fans. It was one of those attractions that seemed to defy the laws of physics and that amassed lines of people wanting to prove their bravery. Despite its fame, Kingda Ka caused trouble. In its first year alone, it was closed for almost 2 months due to technical problems. There was also an electrical failure, lightning damage, a bird strike, and even a lawsuit alleging risk for very tall people. In 2024, after months of rumors, the park confirmed the coaster's permanent end. The following year, the structure was demolished. The first car from Kingda Ka was donated to a roller coaster museum, but the rest remained only in history. Today, the park promises a new attraction for 2026 that should break even more records. For many, no new launch will ever top the shock of facing that green steel wall. The Devil's Pool has become fashionable among tourists who like a little, or a lot, of risk on vacation. It is a natural pool that forms on the edge of a cliff more than 100 meters high, right above Victoria Falls, on the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. The pool only appears during some months of the year, between August and January, when the Zambezi River's level drops. The water begins to accumulate in a rock depression, exactly where the waterfalls start. And yes, tourists enter there, lie on the edge, and even take photos with their legs dangling. To get there, you must take a boat to Livingston Island and then walk to the pool, all under the fierce sun of the African summer. Upon arrival, the impulse is to dive into the water to relieve the heat, but you cannot forget that there is still a current, even in the dry season. Therefore, the visit can only be done with local guides. They enter the water with tourists and help ensure that no one crosses the limit, literally. Despite its dangerous reputation, Devil's Pool draws people from all over the world. Many visitors leave saying it is one of the most thrilling experiences of their lives, and after swimming just inches from a cliff, you can understand why. Near Cape Town, South Africa, is Gansby. There is an experience not for everyone. One of the only places in the world where you can dive with great white sharks in safety, inside a cage attached to a boat. The trip begins early, with vans departing directly from hotels. Tour groups receive instructions and don their gear before boarding. When the sharks appear, 5 people at a time descend into the cage. No scuba tanks or snorkels are used. You simply hold your breath and face it. Some sharks even bump against the bars, with footage that has already gone viral and garnered millions of views. The most recommended company there is White Shark Projects, known for respecting both tourists and animals. They do not feed the sharks, nor do they guarantee you will see any. After all, it is nature, not a scheduled show. Even so, it is hard to leave without a great story to tell, and perhaps with a new opinion about these giants of the sea. Las Vegas is already full of exaggerations, but one attraction atop the city managed to go further, literally. XCream sits atop the Stratosphere Tower, 264 meters high. It is a kind of compact roller coaster with one scary detail. The track simply extends beyond the edge of the building. Yes, passengers are propelled off the tower with the ground view far below. The car travels on a 21-meter track that swings like a giant seesaw. The structure tilts and releases the vehicle, which accelerates to 48 kilometers per hour until it passes the building's limit. For a few seconds, it seems like you will simply plummet. Those in the front cannot see the structure beneath, only the void. The feeling is that the track ended and you will fall straight onto the asphalt, but you do not. The system uses permanent magnets to brake the car precisely, even if power fails, and the motion repeats several times with computer-programmed random variations. You can get a different fright each round. XCream has been in operation since 2003, and to this day, many people exit the ride with shaky legs. Not due to technical failure, but because they faced one of the scariest rides in the world, right on the edge of a skyscraper. In the middle of the Karakum Desert, Turkmenistan, there is a mysterious place that looks like it came from a nightmare or science fiction film. It is a burning crater, nicknamed the Door to Hell. The hole appeared in 1971, when Soviet engineers were drilling the area in search of natural gas. But the ground gave way and revealed a huge underground chamber. Fearing that methane gas would escape and cause a disaster, they decided to set fire to the area, thinking the blaze would last only a few weeks. More than 50 years later, the fire is still burning strong. The place became one of the world's most bizarre attractions. The crater is 70 meters wide and 30 meters deep, with flames emerging from the ground and a heat that changes with the wind. At night, the scene is even more surreal, with the flames illuminating the surrounding desert. Access is difficult via dirt road and only by 4x4 vehicle. There are no fences, signs, or tourist infrastructure. It is just you, the desert, and the burning hole. After half a century, scientists say the fire has finally begun to diminish, but the image of the door to hell remains as striking as ever. If there are many ordinary bridges out there that make you feel queasy when crossing them, imagine traversing one made of glass, suspended more than 300 meters high. That is the proposal of this Chinese bridge, which connects 2 cliffs within Zhangjiajie National Forest Park in Hunan Province, China. It is 430 meters long and was, for a time, the world's longest glass bridge. The structure is supported by 4 pillars embedded in the canyon walls. On the floor, there are more than 120 tempered glass panels, each with 3 layers. The daring design attracted crowds from day one. But soon after its inauguration, in August 2016, the bridge had to be closed. The forecast was for 8,000 visitors per day, but more than 80,000 showed up. Some cracks appeared in one of the panels, causing tourists to panic and flee. Fortunately, the crack was superficial, but it was enough to generate panic. The bridge was reinforced, underwent improvements, and reopened weeks later. Today, the site still receives thousands of visitors daily. In addition to the crossing itself, there are swings hanging beneath the structure and a bungee jump of 285 meters, the highest in the world. Those who face this bridge never forget it, whether for the spectacular view or the constant feeling that the ground could vanish at any moment. If you think climbing an active volcano sounds crazy, know that thousands of people do it every year in southern Chile. Verica is one of South America's most dangerous volcanoes. It stands at almost 3,000 meters of altitude, and it has killed dozens of people in violent eruptions, such as those of 1964 and 1971. Even so, it became a tourist attraction. Every summer, tourists gear up with helmets, boots, and ropes to climb to the crater's rim. From there, you can see the lava bubbling at the bottom. On days of greater activity, the sound resembles a train passing at full speed. On others, everything is tense and silent, as if the volcano were simply waiting for its next chance.
Last picture video on the go, okay?
Verica has an active lava lake, which is quite rare in the world, and this constant activity is precisely what attracts so many people. Some say the place transmits a different energy, as if the mountain were alive. Others just want the perfect shot for social media. The risk, of course, remains. The volcano is monitored 24 hours a day and has already forced emergency evacuations several times in the past decade. Even so, there are those who accept the challenge and even find the experience spectacular, like a guide who had to run down the volcano when it erupted in 2022. You can call it madness, but Verica remains on the list of the planet's most frightening attractions. Now imagine entering a cave so large that you could fit an entire New York City block inside it, complete with skyscrapers. That is Sundoom in Vietnam, a rock formation 200 meters high, 150 meters wide, and almost 9 kilometers long. Just for comparison, a Boeing 747 could fly through the cave with room to spare. It was discovered by chance in 1991 by a local villager named Huashan. He was in the middle of the forest looking for wood when he felt a draft coming from a crack and also heard the sound of a river inside. But the place was difficult to access, and he ended up forgetting where it was. Only years later did he manage to rediscover the entrance and, in 2009, returned with a group of British researchers. The cave impresses not only with its size but with its details. Inside, there are stalagmites up to 80 meters tall, underground rivers, fossils, rare insects, and even a forest. This is because at 2 points, the ceiling collapsed and created natural skylights, allowing trees to grow inside. At the end of the route, those who still have energy can climb a wall nicknamed the Great Wall of Vietnam, with 90 meters of height. But not just anyone can visit. The excursions are expensive, tightly controlled, and happen only occasionally. Perhaps that is good, because you can see that the nature there is as extreme as it is fragile. A rock formation in Yosemite National Park, United States, attracts adventurers from all over the world, and it is not hard to understand why. El Capitan is a granite monolith almost 1,000 meters high, which has become a kind of symbol for those who take climbing to the extreme. The place began to gain fame in the 1950s when the first climbers took on the challenge of scaling that smooth, almost vertical wall. Today, there are dozens of different routes. Some routes take days to complete, others have been done in less than 2 hours. But El Capitan became truly famous after 2017, when Alex Honnold climbed it without ropes or safety equipment, using only his hands and feet. The feat became the documentary Free Solo and shocked the entire world. Since then, the wall has become the stage for speed competitions, ever riskier challenges, and even protests. But it has also served as inspiration for incredible accomplishments. A paraplegic athlete, for example, trained for months doing more than 800 pull-up exercises per day and managed to complete the climb with the help of a team. With all this, this, El Capitan ceased to be just a giant rock. It became a physical, mental, and even emotional test. It is no wonder so many people face that wall as the greatest challenge of their lives. There is a roller coaster in Japan that spins you every which way at more than 120 kilometers per hour. Its name is Ejanika, and it is at Fuji-Q Highland Park at the foot of Mount Fuji, Japan. Just by looking, you can understand that it is something different. The car not only travels along the track but also spins on its own axis, making you lose all sense of direction. The most common comparison is with a washing machine on maximum speed. It opened in 2006 and is what engineers call a four-dimensional roller coaster. That is because the seats rotate forward and backward while the car moves forward, creating a total of 14 inversions. But only 3 are in the track. The other 11 happen with you spinning in the air, upside down. Ejanika is one of the fastest and tallest roller coasters in the world. At 76 meters high and an almost vertical drop, the experience is so extreme that it divides opinions. Some people love it and ride it over and over, but others come off not knowing where they are and vow never to go near it again. The safety record is a bit frightening too. There was a part that came loose mid-ride and even a serious accident involving an employee. Despite that, the attraction remains active, with reinforced protocols, and draws those seeking the kind of adrenaline that borders on the absurd. If you have courage, good luck. Don't forget to subscribe so you can watch more videos like this.